President Rahul, my dear good friend Vijay, Dilip has just joined in, Mangesh, Prashant, all my friends in Thai and young friends. Vijay, thank you so much for saying that you can tell stories and then called me, because I'm going to tell you stories only. There's nothing that I can share with you as an overview other than tell you real stories which will give you an idea of what it means to be an entrepreneur. So let me begin with my own grandfather. My grandfather was one of the first batches of the Tata Institute of Sciences, which was started in Bangalore way back in 1916 or something. And he was, I think, a 1916-17 batch engineer in electrical and mechanical. And after passing from there, in those days, everybody was attracted to Tata's first enterprise, which was in Jamshedpur, called TISCO, Tata Iron and Steel Company. So he joined TISCO, and as you know, in 1916 and 18, the British were the rulers of our country. And one day, a British supervisor who was looking after the work that my grandfather as an engineer was overseeing, fired him very badly for some mistake that happened. And he insulted him to such a degree that my grandfather vowed that moment that from now on, I will not work for anybody, I'll become an entrepreneur myself. Having done that, he was already married, his wife was carrying, and having done that, he realized that he doesn't have any capital. He of course came back to Mumbai, Pune, and he was looking for opportunities. In the process, he was born in a wealthy family, but he had burnt up all his savings in this process of a year or two that he was looking out for opportunities. And then he got a contract offer for the Congress Adhiveshan, which was held in Nagpur, which is now known as Congress Nagar area. That area, the Congress had an Adhiveshan of theirs, All India, and he got the electrical contract for that. He did not have the money, so there was one gentleman, Mr. Pathak, who offered him that I'll put in the money and you are an engineer, you look after that business, and that is how his businesses started. From then on, he moved into having theatres in Nagpur, the Raghuveer Theatre, which is presently known as the Nursing Talkies, and the Birdy Picture House, which is known as the Regent Talkies. These were his enterprises, along with Mr. Pathak as the finance partner. And then to automobiles and so on, and he flourished very well, he did very well. But what was involved when all that happened? Let me tell you, the last bit of the jewelry of my grandmother had to be sold. All that he inherited by way of wealth, which was 80,000 rupees in 1900. I don't know what value it means today, but that was the kind of money he got when the joint family separation happened. And he decided that he burnt it all up. He lived a life like a brown sahib, and that was gone. His wife's jewelry was gone. So much so that my grandmother used to tell us that she used to, in those days the movies were silent when the Raghuveer Picture House and the Birdy Picture House were there. Movies were silent and you needed a person for live commentary. And the commentary used to come from the producers. We can't even imagine. Na, आपने देखा है क्या किसी ने silent picture? Anyone? You've seen? Which one? Pushpak? Acha. Okay, new production. Okay, I haven't seen it. But silent movies, always the producer used to send a script. And the person who was sitting with the bhopu used to announce कि अभी ये हो रहा, अभी वो हो रहा, and all that. They couldn't afford to have that, so my grandmother used to sell tickets, stand at the gate, phado the tickets, and then sit on the bhopu and give the commentary. This is how the business, so that kind of involvement was required. Over the years, things worked very well. He flourished very well. And thanks to him, we inherited good businesses ourselves. So we owe a lot. Just recently, last week, I was in Mauritius. And in Mauritius, we stayed with Rotary Clubs, members of the Rotary Club of Mauritius as a family exchange program. And I was very surprised to hear one comment from the gentleman with whom I was staying. He said, we are so grateful to my great-great-grandfather. 150 years ago, they migrated as bonded labor to Mauritius. After being absolutely poor from regions of Western Bengal and Bihar and those areas, there were about 4 lakh people who were taken by the British as bonded labor to work in the sugarcane plantations in Mauritius. And they say we are so grateful because today what we are is because of that spirit with which they came here, and later on as entrepreneurs they started having their own sugarcane fields. So they could afford to send their children. This gentleman that I stayed with was educated in UK and did his masters in US and all that, but his father was able to do that because of the entrepreneur spirit that his grandfather and great-grandfather showed in branching off from being bonded labor into own entrepreneurs, having their own sugarcane plantations and being able to afford to send them. Another story, can I have a glass of water? Oh, I think I've... There was this lady who lived in coastal Karnataka. I don't remember her name. She had 3 children, around 10, 12 years of age, 2 years gap. And her husband was a well-to-do government officer. He just dropped dead one day. Just dropped dead. This lady was a housewife. She was not educated for anything specific. All that she knew was to cook at home. So what would she do? She had to support 3 children. And she was self-respecting to the extent she didn't want to go back to anybody in the family to ask them, please provide me the money. I have 3 children to look after and support us. No, she wasn't that kind. So what did she do? She looked for a job. And she found out that the job that she was being offered in those days was 600 to 700 rupees a month to do cooking in a home of the rich people who lived in that area. She said, she did her own calculations that by doing this, at the most, I'll be able to provide for food for the 4 of them. But what about schooling? What about education? What about other expenses? Where will I get the money from? And at that time, somebody said to her that you are one of the finest cooks we have ever had food from. You do so well that why don't you look at that as an opportunity? Now she gave it a very serious thought and decided that okay, from my home, I'm going to start a small restaurant where she will have people, have you heard of a thing called Khanawad? A place where especially students go every day for lunch and a dinner at a very fixed rate, reasonable rate. You get a thali, and so they are able to kind of pursue their education at the same time eat decent meal. This lady started that Khanawad and it became very popular. She later on made enough money to start a restaurant, and further after that, branches of the restaurant, all the 3 children found themselves independent restaurants to put with, and this is from the region known as Udupi in Karnataka, where most of the Udupi restaurants in Bombay and all these are those enterprising people who from Udupi go to Mumbai and set up the restaurants there. Friends, these are stories of people who by circumstance, choice, mainly by circumstance, became entrepreneurs. Now what does it take? What is this overview? What do you think was involved in all this? In all these 3 stories that I told you, what do you think was involved? Perseverance, okay. Discipline, but more than that, what made them? And a desire to do what? Explore their full potential. They felt they were being stifled in a certain circumstance. Okay? Now many of us are not born rich. Are we going to sit there crying, Mera baap agar rais rehta to main ye karta? Is this what we are going to do? You feel you have the potential, then what are you going to do? You're going to fight. You're going to look for opportunities. You're going to look for avenues through which you can let your full potential blossom. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. If that latent potential which God has blessed us with, each one of us has a quality that God has given us. We are not all designed to become engineers or doctors and become good executives, finance and IT. No, it's not everybody's cup of tea. But we are good at something. As you grow, you will start realizing, आज भी आप लोगों को एक कोई तो भी ख्वाब होगा कि मेरे को ये करना है जिंदगी में. There was one such seminar I attended, and this youngster's mother was saying that her son is dreaming of becoming a cricket star. And she was most nervous because the fellow didn't study and wanted to spend more time on the field. So I said, ma'am, if that is what his desire is and he's promised you that I'll clear my 12th and after that I'll go, what's your problem? She said, नहीं ऐसा करके थोड़ी होगा, और नहीं हुआ तो क्रिकेट में नहीं सिलेक्ट हुआ तो. So I said, he'll learn his lessons, he'll find out something else. But to stifle him and tell him कि no cricket, you must study. Do you think he'll pass well? He won't study only. He'll do it because mommy wants me to do that. Now that is what stifles. And you have potentials which you want to. So these three stories tell us that these people realized that they have potential to do something larger in life, something bigger in life. And that's what motivated them to look at entrepreneurship. But was it all a path with roses? Lot of difficulties. वही लोग डर जाते. How many of you are Maharashtrians? Sizable lot. Even मी पण मराठी है, and Maharashtrians in 1910 or 16, when my grandfather decided, or 18, whatever, when he decided to get into business, if he was unmarried, they wouldn't have given him the daughter in marriage. Because कोई भी alliance Maharashtrians देखते थे तो चांगली नौकरी आहे ना, DAGPT मध्ये आहे तो very nice, it's secured government job, and so no risk involved. The risk-taking spirit in our country has been shown by two communities specifically, the Rajasthanis and the Gujaratis. They have been entrepreneurs from birth. I don't know, the genes are, the DNA itself is such that they are out and out looking for entrepreneurship. Then of course you have stories of the Punjab, and in South also good entrepreneurs. But per se, if you look at the ethos of a particular community, Maharashtrians did not prefer business to service. They preferred to be in service because it was safe and secure. And it has changed tremendously over the years. I'm very happy to see, especially if you go to the Pune, Pimpri, Chinchwad, Nasik belt, Aurangabad, you see that a lot of young engineers, after doing their graduation, instead of going in for a job, have set up their small scale, medium scale industries. They have set up their own enterprises, which is very heartening because then the confidence of the community develops in that. So let me kind of briefly share with you two important points which are involved as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. First, let us look at the rewards. Can you tell me what are the rewards? Can you imagine? More money? More income, more money? No, tell me, is it right? More income, more money, is that the reward of entrepreneurship? Of course it is. Then what you get in a salary? Of course it is. But provided you succeed. Either you can go down in a gadda if you don't, which we will come to later on. So what is the other reward? Sir? I didn't get that. Fame. Okay, you can become famous. More than that, something which everybody wants. Job satisfaction. I believed in doing this and I did it. That satisfaction comes when you get into the enterprise of your dream, when you do what you want to do in life. They say he is the happiest who has been able to turn his hobby into his profession. दिल से करता है वो काम, और जो काम हम दिल से करते हैं बहुत अच्छे से करते हैं. If I enjoy doing something and that becomes my profession, it becomes my enterprise, wow, I'll give it my best. It will not be a burden. I'm not doing it for someone else. So you get that job satisfaction. What else? What are the rewards? You know of people who are in job, in service? Independence. Correct. Freedom of time. You are your own boss. But that freedom is a lot of responsibility also. Because in business, when you get into enterprise, it is 24/7 you are a businessman. You can't say if your business is the kind that you get a call in the night and they say ki kuch problem ho gaya hai, or there's some issue. You can't say that don't tell me, tell my boss. No, you're the boss. So you've got to attend to it. But the reward is freedom. You are not listening to a boss and listening to his instructions. Many talented people, when they get into service, after a while realize that they are being stifled. जीव गुदमर तो घुटमल होती है उनकी. क्यों? बिकॉज जो उनको करना है, द बॉस डजंट लेट देम डू इट. ही सेज दैट डू इट माई वे, आई एम द बॉस, आई एम टेलिंग यू. These are the values of my company. This is the way in which you will work, and this is the compensation you will get. In such a environment, many people find themselves frustrated. When you are in your own enterprise and you feel that this is the way I can grow, this is the way I can do it, well, you're your own boss. Except maybe as you get married, your spouse will tell that I find it's a big risk, don't do it, which my wife has been telling me all this 40-45 years of my being entrepreneur. मैंने बहुत गड़बड़ की अपनी लाइफ में. मैं बिजनेसमैन हूँ, बट मैंने बहुत पैसे बर्बाद किए एंटरप्रेन्योर स्पिरिट में. I got into, we were traders, we were dealers for Mahindra and Mahindra, Tatas and all that. And I always wanted to do something on my own. I was about